Hold on, I want to make sure if let me make sure you guys can hear me. Let me make sure. I've already tested this, but I just to keep seeing people. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, we're connected. We're connected. Bluetooth connect. So anyways, you have to forgive me. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I've had to move already 3 times this morning. As there's just, I'm by the ocean, there's lots of people. I'm not in a private space as I had so many issues at the last space that I went to. Surprise, surprise. You know, who knows whatever the problem is, but what I can say is something that someone told me a long time ago is wherever there is a problem, that also means that somewhere within that problem is a solution. So if we can be aware, right? If we can be aware and know that there's always a solution wherever we seem to find a problem. So welcome back if you are returning subscriber. If you are new subscriber, I appreciate and love all of your support and your presence. I've already let this. I've moved 3 times just because it was really loud. I wanted to go down by the beach so you guys had a nice view, but it was so loud there, and then people love to come and always sit right next to me, and now it's gone to the next phase where they're cleaning. So please be patient with the sound and the noise and things like this. Okay. So, dear universe, source creator, spirit guides, angels, archangels, ancestors, ancients, ancient deities, okay, ascended masters. Look at that. 2, 3, 4. We're on this forward movement. Galactic Federation of Light and Love, and all of those who are here to help us to get to our highest and best possible outcomes and timelines available to us. We thank thee for your guidance, for your presence, for your support, for your clarity, for everything. We thank thee for being here, but mostly for your presence, right? So, guys, made it back down here or up here. I'm actually up. How do you up and down at the same time? Maybe a teeter-totter. um because like the saying, and this is interesting, there's a lot of sayings that we use. Okay, so we're just going to do an interesting channeled, this is a channeled message, so this is a collective reading or channeling, which means whatever is strongest coming through the field is what's going to be shared. If you want to schedule a personal or private reading, you can see if possibly I'm available, but um, just know that I'm here. And the reason why I do lives is because I've had a lot of people, obviously, hacking my accounts, my devices, my bank accounts, my emails, my social medias. Basically, the only place where I'm able to actually share and communicate with people is when I'm live. And when I post things, for instance, on like Instagram or something like this. If you would like to follow my Instagram, I didn't post it down below because it's just really hard for this device is really crap. So, um, but the reality is, you can check it out. It's by the same name, Divinity Within Thee. Okay. And you'll probably see a similar picture as the one here. So, guys, what I'm going to um, what I'm going to talk about today is what needs to be brought up or what needs to come up. And there's a lot of things that are going about the collective. Number one, a lot of people have been, we've been talking about a lot of really intense and really heavy things. And although, yes, they are relevant, okay, we don't like to feed into them too much because what that does is that actually breeds more fear and more chaos, and that's what people love to do. Now, I did have really interesting, really prophetic dreams, and I have been having really interesting and prophetic dreams, especially after getting back up to the beach and just leaving areas. So, something that you have to understand is where there is a problem, there's always a solution. So, for a week, I attempted to say, okay, I just need to be patient and I need to figure out what's going on and I need to just be okay and be grateful about this location and this space and whatever. And then I realized after a while, like, no, some people just want to be angry. Some people want to fight. Some people's prerogative in life is to be derogative, be derogative. It's like it is to be derogatory. And some people are just angry and some people want to fight. And many other people really, really love to just try to create chaos or conflict. Now, as a longtime artist, normally chaos is really great. We can tap into the chaos and we can use that chaos magic to actually favor us. Now, when we're not in creative states, there's other states of flow that we can get into where we can tap that chaos magic. And so once you've actually learned that, it stops being chaos and it actually starts being more of a platform up for you to kind of like get more and more and more. So, for instance, right, people people want to, take the Wi-Fi or take the power or take the whatever. So I just say, you know what? I'm not going to keep fighting this because that's what they want. Because when they keep us distracted, then we're not in connection to source, right? And this is how they keep us in this. I posted something on my Instagram story yesterday. It's about um, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And the reality of that is this like, again is a very old saying, trying to say that we're always going to be struggling and we're always just going to have to keep. This is old mindset. This is old mind frame. This is old patriarchal order. Okay, we're not meant to live or exist like this. It's not how we're supposed to be. Just like we're not supposed to be dealing with all of the information of the world all at once, right? This is like too much technology. Like our bodies aren't really quite programmed for that. And just like many people like to date different people every day of the week or schedule all the like, it's not meant to be like that. You don't have the availability to be present when you're constantly attempting to appease many things or be have your hands in everything. It just doesn't work. You don't have we're very intelligent creatures and we have a lot of capacity. However, we also don't have that much capacity, because where your attention goes is where the energy flows, right? Or energy flows where your attention goes. So if you're constantly short attention span, scrolling, swiping, this person on this day and that, then it makes it nearly impossible. Nearly, nothing is impossible, more improbable, but it makes it very hard for you to be present, to be existing within this moment, right? And that's what happens, right? When we're too much in the future, then we're not then we can't be present because we're too worried about the next thing, about making the next money, about the next move, the next move, the next move. And that's where they like to keep us. Now, if we are existing too far in the past, then he who lives in his past surely can have no future because they're stuck. Okay. So they're stuck in this space of the past, the past, the past. Now, what we're seeing a lot of in the world currently is um, you know, a lot of people just want to create hate, separation. Now, the interesting thing is even though we're source experiencing itself individually, we're all collectively co-creating this reality. So when you point the finger for more, three more, four more, whatever, are pointing back at you. So does it mean now I had somebody post something saying every person is you. No, every person is not you. Okay. And this is where translation gets kind of messed up, right? anything can be true as far as it is translated correctly. Now, from language to language to language, there is not exact or precise translations. So, if any of you guys actually speak multiple languages, then you will understand. Or if you've been different countries and you see when you're trying to explain something, there isn't always a word that translates directly into each language. Therefore, the translations are not existing in the same manner. Okay. You have to forgive me. There's a they're doing like flight training up here in the north by the airport. Um, so anyways, uh there's not the exact translation that exists word for word. And so in understanding that, we can see, okay, what is the idea, what is the gist of what we're attempting to do, like what are we, you know. And the reality is we get so lost on, well, this person likes red, or this person likes blue, or this person is right, or whatever, um and this is why, to be honest, I left America a lot of years ago, and I was talking about it for probably the last 15 or 20 years. Is just they love to create separation. Now we have to look at that 11:11. We have to look a little bit outside the box. When we stay inside the box that they've created for us to be fighting each other inside of, then we don't actually have the capacity to think outside the box, because we're like, ah, well, this is my box. Well, I built the box. No, I built the box. No, I know the person who built it. Doesn't matter. Fucking kick the box out of the way, because there's a whole open field that the box is sitting in, that you guys are fighting inside this box that they've created for you guys to fight about. So no matter where you're from, no matter what country or what place in the world you're existing, it's the same thing, right? It's a choice of your state of mind. Now, what's going on a lot in the world right now is we're seeing a lot of, and I want to talk about it because I have a platform, and so I'm going to talk about it. Right now, there's so many countries that are working on the digital IDs, right? We don't need to worry about who did this and who did that. We need to worry about things like this. Okay, if you guys know anything about China or other countries like this, where they have these things in place, what it does is it's going to prevent you from being able to travel, from being able to eat places, from being able to move or live places, to move freely. And what it's going to do, someone else that I follow was talking about the 15-minute cities, and that's what it's going to do, is it's going to say, actually, you're diabetic, so you can't eat this and you can't do this. So it's going to take away all of our freedoms, all of our rights, all of our basic human rights to be free and to think for ourselves. So we need to stop fighting each other and realize that there is a whole higher, larger system of control, before we go into the next COVID, which is not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's more of a matter of when they're going to put that into play. And they've talked about this many times. It's been foretold, foreseen many times. So this isn't a new thing. And I'm not trying to be all crazy and negative. I am here as the messenger to deliver messages. So the reality of the situation is, what are we actually doing? How are we bringing people together? How are we acting as community? How are we saying what is best for the future, for the children, for the planet, right? For everybody to feel free and happy and safe, to not be working themselves to death, but to be existing, not in survival mode. Because when we're in survival mode, ourselves, our brains, our nervous system, everything like this, we can't function. We cannot connect to source. Have you ever seen somebody that's like, look like they're fucking dying from running a marathon, that's sitting in a state of peace and meditation? No, you're not going to see that. Why? Because it's a state where you have to be calm enough to breathe. You have to be calm enough to start the meditation, right? It's like, and if they can keep us in this state of fear, of separation, of chaos, of conflict, if they can perpetuate this state, then we're all fucked, right? Because we're buying into it. So it's similar like that movie. What's that movie called? I think it's called Ants. I don't think it's not A Bug's Life. I think it's called Ants. And the grasshoppers are like, no, you collect the food, and they spend all this time collecting all of the food and working all for them to come and take it all. And the grasshoppers are there, right? We can actually find so much information, no shit, through especially cartoons and things like this, because they can put higher level political stances and things like that. You guys ever seen like South Park or The Simpsons, like anything like this? This is reality. It's because they can actually say what's going on, but because it's behind a cartoon or whatever, they actually have the ability to talk about it, right? Because they're making it a joke, or they're making it for kids, and they're putting the underline. And so basically what these grasshoppers are doing is like, if those ants ever find out they outnumber us 100,000 to 1, we're fucked. We're fucked, right? And that's what they do, is they spend all this time collecting all this food to give to them, so they don't come and attack their nest. So they let them be. So they let them have their minuscule little lives in peace, and they let them have their little 10% of everything that they've worked for, that they've grown, that they've harvested, that they've collected. And that's exactly the same exact precise scenario what is happening in the world now. So that is the difference between being asleep and being awake. That's a level of consciousness. Now, I understand that there's so many distractions and people trying to block and do all this to me. Why? Because I'm here with this voice. Makasih banyak. I'm here with this voice sharing the information. And as long as I'm sharing the information to the people, you wouldn't be being blocked. You wouldn't be being judged. You wouldn't be being poked at if your information wasn't powerful. So that is where we're at, right? So no, they say basically, you're only doing it right when you got a lot of haters. So the reality is to be in a state of awareness, in a state of consciousness. This means you're going to have a lot of people that are in disagreement. It's just like Einstein and all these other people where they say, where they thought all of them were nutso crazy, right? They were trying to be like, oh, they're super fucking crazy, until they realized, wait a second, when technology and information and availability starts catching up, they realize, wait a second, actually their theories were right. And sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes it takes 10 years, sometimes it takes 20 or 50 years before they actually say, oh, wait, they were onto something, and we actually ridiculed them. Just like Tesla, right? He was super like OCD, and he had a way where he had to do these things, these repetitious things, and they're just like, oh well, this is crazy. But now, guess what? They're tapping in. Guess who's tapping in? The millionaires that are about to be trillionaires, right? They're tapping into that technology, and they're using it, and they're making bank off of it, when really that those people that were the forethought were the ones that were taken out because it wasn't profitable to the larger companies or corporations. So you have to understand, what our ability is, right? Like, I have people are like, oh, thank you so much for sharing this. This is such great information. I'm like, I'm not here I'm not here for the accolades, right? I don't need an applause. I can fucking clap for myself. Right? That doesn't matter. The reason why I share things is so other people can share things. But watch when you're sharing things that you're actually speaking truth. Because I noticed, like, the last dude I dated, he would hear things and then he would repeat them and be preaching them to people as if it was truth, but not accurately. So if you're going to be iterating or reiterating information, make sure you actually know the source of where that information is coming from. Make sure it's actually true and factual. Otherwise, you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. You're just delivering more fake news. And that's exactly what we don't need more of, is fake news. Okay. That's what we have a plethora of, is fake news. We don't need that. We have enough. Give me 1 second, guys. Apologies. They clean my room, and I really I really love being by the beach, you guys, down by the sea. But I'm like, up, get up to get down, something like this. I don't know. Now, this is Divinity Within Thee, where we take time to get in touch with the divine. Now, if you guys have been seeing any other accounts, this is my only account. I do have a a personal account that I have like 16 or 17 followers. Um, that's I don't really do lives or anything over there. Um, I do have a couple Instagrams that I normally list. I guess I can go back and list them later. But if you're seeing, now I've had several people tell me that they saw different accounts, they saw what do you call it? OnlyFans, all these other things. None of those are existent to me. Nowhere have I ever allowed people to take pictures, videos, photos without my permission. And nowhere will I allow people, because I notice they want to do that, to take pictures, videos, contents, photos, anything without my permission. That is illegal. If you are recording people, if you are reproducing films, videos, productions, pictures, anything like this, or you're having people go out and do that, that is federal law. That's a no. You're not allowed to do that. And what you're doing is you're basically contributing to the fucking problem, which is contributing to saying we want these digital IDs. We want everybody to always be watched, to have no privacy. Do you like privacy? Because if you like privacy, don't invade other people's privacy. That's a definite karmic fucking slap right in the face. So, just to be clear, nowhere do I have other accounts, other things, anything like this. So if people are selling my pictures, my things, I do not allow people to reproduce my content, which they are, and they're stealing my content and reproducing it as if they're me or other people. My audio, my visual, my video, or even using AI with my information to do it somewhere else. All of you guys, you fucking owe me. Bitch better have my money. Fuck you, pay me. Okay. I don't permit that. I don't allow, and I don't consent. Nowhere does anybody have my consent to video, film, reproduce, audio, input, anything like that. Nowhere have I ever given consent to be recorded than where I record myself. That's it. Period. And nowhere have I ever allowed anybody to produce or sell. Now, I know that there's people that created some, look at that, 2222, that created some video content, or if we're using other people, that I know that there's people out there trying to copy and doppelgang. I know there's people out there that are creating pornographic content as if it is me, and that is not me. And fuck you, pay me, because you guys made a lot of fucking money, and that's going to come back all to me, plus, 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 plus. So deprivation of character, recording people, or trying to claim identity theft, fraudulent falsification, anything like this. No. And that's what's happened. And that's what's been happening. I want to let you guys know these psychos, try to steal my identity, try to get me to off myself, and try to say that I need to be in a mental facility. But as we know, me and my neurologist and all of the private investigators and lawyers and behavioral specialists actually happen to know better. Imagine that. Imagine when your own family has been convincing people your entire lifetime that you are slow. Well, just so you know, that's an act. I am very intelligent and very calculated. So you might actually want to question yourself. Why? Why I'm letting the demon, the evil, the opposing force, or whoever come near or come close? Why I'm entertaining the threat itself? Well, it's strategic when you're raised by a bunch of psycho and sociopaths, a bunch of narcissistic, manipulative individuals. You know, strategy is everything. And when you're taught how to play chess, because just like chess, right? I saw your daddy, by the way, the other day. You guys look and move a lot alike. He did not like to see me, that's for sure. He broke my glasses and my shoe. Rude. Or his lover did. Anyways, back to it. Let's not get too distracted. You have to forgive me. What I do have is ADHD, and you will find that most neurodivergent people that are higher level or intellectual, maybe even star seeds, light workers, indigos, aliens, whatever, that we're all that ADHD. Why? Because it gives us the ability to tune out these other frequencies. Once we start to get this, it's like pattern disrupt. It's like instant pattern disrupt. And so that's basically what's going on. So now, in knowing that and in understanding that, we have a whole nother level. So a lot of people, they've been telling you or saying, oh, this and that, like take a medication, take this, take that. And um, this is what's actually fucking people up, right? Is the need to be um, medicated, is the label of something is wrong with you. Now, I'm not saying, let me be clear. If you have something wrong, if you have a serious medical condition and you require some type of medical treatment or medication, then please attend to that. Okay, please attend to that. What I am saying is, don't always just take one person's opinion. Okay, maybe you need to go, maybe you need to get a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth opinion, right? Maybe you need to check and make sure. Maybe you need to check multiple alternatives, because what works for one doesn't work for everybody else. Sorry, I'm just making sure you can hear me, because it's very I hear the ocean. So what works for one doesn't work the same for everybody else, and that's something that we have to understand. And this is something that they also understood while doing my behavioral studies analysis, is I am very unique. Um, one in a billion, one in a billion. Shout out to Fat Freddy's. Um, you know, special edition, baby. So that's okay, Be that fun size super bar, be that special edition, right? Be all of those things. Just be yourself. What do they say? Often imitated but never duplicated. Um, so many people can try, and you have to look at it like this, uh, as having like a living life, like like a living Truman Show, right? Of people trying to get their in and their product placement and the record and the this, like set up bullshit, right? I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, the Truman Show. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. This is like what living my life has been like. Imagine people trying to say, oh, well, we're doing it because we want to look after you, want to take care of you. No, it is illegal to record people, to put cameras and secret cameras and record people in their private situations without their consent. That is federal law. And you can try to run it any way you want, bitches, but you're going down. You ain't going to the mall either. Anyways, the reality of this situation is, people that have access to other people's privacy is not okay. I did not permit that. And you're going to have to pay me. Fuck you, pay me. I used to have like all these collections of belt buckles, but this was one. Fuck you, pay me. Now, just to bring a little clarity into the world, yes, of course, I left the last place I was staying days ago, because slippery slope, it's a slippery slope. Imagine when the person that took a payment or an agreement from one person also took a payment or an agreement from their psycho ex as well, to come and bring people there to try to harass you, to try to give you, to try to stress you out while they're trying to work their chaos magic. Actually, what they don't realize is they're in direct violation in Indonesia of Law 8. Okay, that is not allowing equal or fair rights, and attacking, berating, harassing physically handicapped individuals. Now, with my neurological condition that has a physiological response when people won't get the fuck away from me, people can act like, oh, you're crazy and oh, you're angry and all these other things. But actually, I paid a lot of money to prove you wrong. And you're going to go down. So, anyways, now people are at this thing where, I've been telling them for a long time, pick your sides. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose, but you can pick the side that you want. And I've been telling people for quite some time, pick a side, choose a side. Now, I'm not saying right side or left side. I'm saying, are you working with the divine creators or are you working with the demonic forces? That is the only, it's like Star Wars. It's like every movie ever made, right? It's like it's like light against dark. We're in the middle of a spiritual warfare. So now for my collective that's here, you guys are very enlightened, highly enlightened individuals. So it's like we're in the middle of this spiritual warfare. And knowing that we're in the middle of this spiritual warfare, it's like we can understand that even the dark is now begging to come to the we're on your side because we're fucking scared of you now. We're hey, shiver my timbers. Yeah, you should be scared. You should be shivering in your timberlands or whatever fucking land or island or planet you come from. You should be scared because when you realize that there's forces higher than what you thought you were fucking with, when you thought you were the king shit on Turd Island. No, it's not how it works. And on top of that, all these fools that are trying to do these big conspiracies of faking their deaths, faking your death so you try to get out of your prison sentence, that ain't going to happen. You can have your sickness monitored. You can die in prison if that's the game you want to play because that shit ain't going down. And all you people that are psychotic ain't getting that pass of, oh, well, I need to go to a mental institution instead. No, you knew what you were doing when you were doing it and you kept doing it anyways. And no matter how many times you were told to not do it, you kept doing it. And practicing your meditation and working with or whatever, trying to do all this shit, that don't get you free. That don't get you free. Now, there's something called guilty by association. There's something called harboring fugitives and criminals, right? All of these things apply no matter what country you're hanging from. That still is applicable to you and you and you and you. So you might want to rethink your little cult of followers and what you're doing. Rethink that shit because you ain't as smart as someone should think you should be. And trying to get people to actionty so you have a following is creating a cult, sweetie. That's a cult. Okay? Telling people what they have to do and when they have to do it and how they have to do it and what they have to read and they can't read this and they have to read like that's a cult, bitch. That's a cult. You're in a cult. You're in a cult. So you guys, free thinking is what we want, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom of movement, freedom of everything. Now we can tap this extra fear, this chaos magic, and all this stuff by being in a flow state. Now, flow state isn't just, it's not just when you're in movement. Now, movement can be good. You can be moving, but using your voice, right? So something I also posted on my personal Instagram yesterday or today was uh oh, what's his name? Not Lipton, another doctor that studies the brain and heart coherence, right? Um Greg. Anyways, that's not the point. Respect, brother. Um, the point, the point is he was actually talking to someone I don't like, Joe Rogan, whatever. But the point is they're bringing up topics again that need to be discussed. Now, what he was discussing was how people were freaking out now that they have uncovered in Ethiopia and different things. They're starting to uncover gospels and information about Jesus and the churches and all this stuff. and the Gospel of Thomas, like all these things that were hidden. And what it is almost like the greater or the lesser keys of Solomon. And if you study the Emerald Tablets or things like this, it's about the inner wisdom. Now, the wisdom is coming not from, it's not, it's secret wisdom. Now, it's not a secret because it's a fucking secret. It's because it's not something that you can just get, like where you're like, oh, I got the answer from AI, wrote this book for me. No, bitch, you didn't write a book. That's not your book. That's not your book. AI is still programmed by the patriarchy, it's still killing the environment, and it's still writing it for you. You're taking a concept and it's recreating a concept and you're publishing it as your fucking word. So you're basically doing the same thing that religion has been doing for fucking centuries. That's exactly what you're doing. The same bullshit that patriarchy and religion has been doing for centuries. Now, what the Gospel of Thomas speaking about with Greg Braden, I think. So what our buddy Greg Braden was talking about was that the Gospel of Thomas talks about finding, and this is what I was actually studying yesterday, about these inner keys, right? About unlocking the inner keys that exist. And this is information that exists within. Now, these keys are not an actual physical thing. They're an actual inner intelligence. It's like unlocking the extra DNA. It's like tapping. It's like the fact that I can sit, and if someone's actually trying to send information or talking about me or somewhere, whatever, I can tap telepathy. I can channel. I can speak with dead people, or I can see future, past, whatever. Now, is that something that only I can do? I mean, I can probably do it a lot better than 90% of the population for sure, but it's not something that is not accessible to you, to each one of you, as long as you're an actual human and not like an NPC. It's or a fucking clone or a robot. It's something that actually is accessible to you. If you're organic species, then you actually have the ability to tap these higher strands of information and levels of DNA that are within all of us, right? That's why I call my channel Divinity Within Thee. Now, what Braden was talking about was basically what they keep going on about is this inner wisdom, this knowledge, like Sophia, right? The rise of Sophia, the return of Lilith, all of this. And what they labeled it, what they call it is divinity. No shit. How about that? They call it divinity. And this is why I call my channel, because I channeled and have tapped this divinity within thee, not within me, not I am divinity myself. No, divinity within thee. So I am creating, even with the spell of my word of the name of my channel, while I'm channeling, I am still giving the spell, right? Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. I'm still speaking and projecting and omitting the spell that the divinity is within thee, each one of thee, each one of you, each one of us, right? So we are part of the source creation. Divinity itself is coming through us. Now, some of us find our flow state when we sit and meditate. Some of us find it when we dance. Some of us find it, if we're artists, when we're creating, when we're painting. Okay. A great way to tap is through your voice. Your voice, your actual vocal cord, is the thing that is meant to heal you physically. Now, you'll see a lot of ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge is based on not just mathematics, but frequency. You'll find a lot of these places that are tapping in, getting people into these spaces, right? Even Egyptians and stuff like this, they were holding the rods. This is the same technology that I used to heal a lot of the blood problems when I got hit by the truck. Now, when I cleared that out, the bioresonance, what it does is it's checking your frequency, your resonance. You have a different resonant frequency. Every organ of your body has a different resonant frequency. And as we're having the different resonant frequency within us, when something is off, right, then it's now becoming physical. If something as within, so without. So if there's something that's happening, right, on the exterior, whether